Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kailin and I post new videos every single Saturday with a few sprinkled in between. And I do post videos mainly about eating disorder recovery and intuitive eating, so if that's something that you're interested in, I would love for you to click onto that subscribe button down below and become part of our little family. But for today's video, we are going to be doing a how I eat in a day video, which I've never done, so we'll just have to see how that goes. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you what I'm eating, but also some questions that I kind of ask myself throughout the day, just to sort of help guide me intuitively, or I guess in my own intuitive eating journey. I do just want to preface this video by saying that if you are in active eating disorder recovery, this video is not for you. I do not believe that you can be in eating disorder recovery and eat intuitively. It's just, there's other work that's got to be done first. So this video is primarily for people who are interested in intuitive eating, who want to sort of have that connection back with food that they used to. I do just want to put out a quick disclaimer that most of the questions that I'm going to be asking myself in this video or talking about out loud often are things that happen subconsciously. I'm not focused on food 24/7. In fact, it's the opposite. I don't think about it as often as I did in the past at all on any level. And so sometimes I might ask a bunch of questions or, you know, just to share with you, but it's a lot simpler on the day-to-day. But anyway, without further ado, let's start with breakfast. One of the most important questions that I ask myself when I'm ready to eat, right, is just how hungry am I? Am I snack hungry? Am I meal hungry? I just try to find, you know, the right sort of point of hunger. And then from there, I ask myself if anything sounds good. So if anything is calling my name, if I'm having a particular craving. Some days I don't, and I would ask myself other questions. But today, I am craving something, and I'm craving French toast because I'm watching Shameless, and one of the characters, I don't actually know her name. She's the one who's afraid to go outside. She was making French toast, and she's always making these beautiful, elaborate meals. And I saw it last night, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make French toast tomorrow. So that is what we're doing. And then I see if there are any ingredients that I kind of need to use up that could help with this recipe. And so I do actually have some leftover homemade bread. It's been sitting on the counter for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days. So it is stale, and it's perfect to make with this French toast. And yeah, so this morning is quite easy because I'm meal hungry. I know what I want. And then after, we're going to add something for a little bit of, you know, color, a little bit of spunk, something else that either sounds good or, again, that I need to use up in the fridge. Let's make French toast together first.
Take me down to the waterside, let me
All right, so the next question that I ask myself is, how full is this meal going to leave me? That is going to depend on the day, depending on my own hunger, but I also know that I have a client call in around an hour, and then I have some more work to do. So I am going to need to be, you know, satiated by this breakfast, and just having plain French toast like that probably isn't going to do it for me. So I'm going to add some fruit because I love it. It sounds amazing. And I also have some raspberries I think that I need to use up in the fridge. I'm gonna add some maple syrup because that is fun and it makes the entire breakfast a lot more satisfying to me. And then I think I'm gonna have a little bit of Greek yogurt on the side just to help, you know, with my fullness throughout the morning. So those are some things that I think about, but again, a lot of this just happens organically. It happens in my mind. I just reach for things, but I'm really trying to think of what kinds of questions I would be asking myself. And so part of that is, how can I make sure that this meal fills me up, but is also making me very, very satisfied? Because anything can fill me up and it could be trash and I could not enjoy it. and I'm going to be looking for that satisfaction elsewhere. So that's something that is really important to me, is satisfaction, as well as fullness, just because I am very busy. Even though I work from home and have access to, you know, food whenever I want, and snack breaks or meal breaks or whatever it might be, for me it's quite disruptive throughout my day or throughout my workflow just to constantly be coming back downstairs. So I really want to make sure that all of my meals, yeah, feel good to me. I'm also much more of a meal person than a snack person, but everybody is different. So listen to that beautiful body of yours, okay? Okay.
I'm in love with the salt on your skin, with the salt. I'm in love with the salt on your skin, where you been, my love. I'm in love with the salt on your skin.
This looks and smells incredible. Oh my goodness. So we've got my breakfast. I was in a sweet mood, which is, again, another question that I kind of ask myself. Typically, if I don't have a specific craving, then I ask sweet or savory. But as we already went over, I did have a craving this morning. So I got some French toast. It does not look as good as the one that was in Shameless, but we're gonna try it anyway. It's with homemade bread, so that's gotta count for something. Cheers. That's actually so good. And throughout my meal, I just kind of check in with myself, see what I need, see how I'm feeling. Do I need more? Typically, I have a good relationship with my body, and so I am usually able to respect its like hunger and fullness levels, but we're human and I can't always do that. Something that I do like to focus on is just how the food tastes. If it doesn't taste as good, or if it doesn't taste good in general, then I don't really eat it. And as I'm eating this, if I'm still hungry, I will come back and I will make more. This coffee yogurt is so freaking good. Hi besties, I'm still in my pajamas and I can't see myself changing out of them anytime soon. It's one of those days, and now I'm hungry for lunch. So a question that I'm asking myself is, what do I need, and then what does my body need? And again, most of this just happens subconsciously, but we're really trying to talk about it in this video. So what I need is something super quick, super convenient, something that's going to take like less than 10 minutes to put together. And I feel like my body needs something that is warm and comforting. That is what sounds really good right now. By the way, there's like a bulldozer outside, so if you hear that, I'm very sorry. But because I need something quick and easy and also warm and comforting, I'm going to see if anything meets that criteria inside my fridge. So let's go there. Well, let's open this bad boy up. Okay, and right away I see this pot of leftovers, which I made leek and potato soup. So that already hits the spot. It's fast, it's convenient. So we've got the soup, and because I want things that are super quick and easy, I guess we're just gonna roll with the leftover vibe. So I have some of this Greek salad that I made yesterday that I didn't finish all of it. So I'll give it a taste, and if I still like it and it's not soggy or anything, then I'll have that. And yeah, soup and salad. I also still have a bunch of that leftover bread, so maybe I'll make some garlic bread to make it a little bit more, you know, filling on the side. Those are just some questions that I ask what my body's looking for. My body's looking for something warm and also something fresh, which is where the salad and soup come into play. My satisfaction is going to be tied in with the bread because it's going to have some butter and garlic, which is just some of my favorite food. I love all of this, and it fits my criteria mainly as well, which is it has to be super quick and easy. My period cramps are just, I've never felt this pain before. I feel like somebody has scooped me out with like a grapefruit spoon. Very graphic. Does not sound great, but that's how I feel. Anyway, let's make this super quick, easy lunch. So I have my soup boiling over here. It's just reheating. And the leftover Greek salad that I'm going to plate up. And then I made a homemade garlic butter. It's literally just softened butter with like 4 cloves of garlic. And I spread some butter on 2 pieces of toast, or I guess bread, because this is going to go into the oven. 1 for Andrew and 1 for me. But yeah, I'm gonna show you everything when it is all put together. So I'm seated at my dining room table and I have my lunch, my delicious salad and garlic bread, and also a nice big bowl of soup, as well as a glass of water. This is mainly what I drink. It's a preference thing. If you like sparkling water or flavored water, do you. But I love a nice glass of just cold water. It's so good. I'm gonna watch some true crime and eat this, and then we'll chat a little bit after the meal. So I just finished my lunch and I want to talk a little bit about what happens when I get full. I'm in the middle of my meal and I'm full. What do I do? So I'm not always able to recognize these fullness signals depending on what I'm doing. If I'm really engrossed in a TV show or if I'm with friends, eating past the point of fullness is very, very normal and very human, and nothing that I ever beat myself up about. It just happens every now and then and we move on. Life is going to keep going. But when I do notice that I'm full, maybe it's in the middle of my lunch, maybe I've had half, maybe I need to go and get more in order to feel full. Whenever I do feel full, I always like to remind myself that I can always have more if I want at any point in time. If I'm hungry in half an hour, I can have a snack. I can have more of my lunch. If I'm hungry in 2 hours, same kind of rule applies. If I am hungry at 2 freaking a.m. in the morning, I have permission to get up and come downstairs and have a snack. We have full permission to do everything, to get more, to stop and then get more later. We just have unconditional permission. And if you've realized, none of my questions have anything to do with what I've eaten previously. None of my questions are permission-based in the way of I had that yesterday so I can't have this today, or I had bread for my breakfast so I can't have bread with my lunch. Those are rules. Those are not questions of how we become more in tune with ourselves. Those are not questions that even deserve being answered in the first place, because it's just not relevant. What I had yesterday has zero hold on what I have today. My body might ask for different things depending on what I had yesterday, but that's without my own intervention. But yeah, just a couple little tidbits here and there. We never want to be following rules, but asking ourselves questions sometimes, especially at the beginning of your intuitive eating process or journey, can be very, very helpful, because when you finally have permission to have everything, it can be very confusing and we might not even know what we want in the first place. And that's normal and it's a learning curve, and I still don't know what I want every single day because the possibilities are limitless. Anyway, I've got to go back to work. But I will see your beautiful faces later for either a snack or for some dinner. Hello friends, it is later. New hairstyle. It's cute, isn't it? But it is time to prep dinner, and with daylight savings we have such beautiful lights. I feel like it's usually so dark and gloomy when I'm cooking dinner, but look at this. I love this for us. Again, sticking with those usual questions that I tend to ask myself is, what do I want and what does my body want? And right now I actually don't have an answer to either of those questions, because I don't feel like my body's asking for anything in particular. I'm not feeling like freshness, I'm not feeling comfort, I'm not feeling any of those things. And from a personal like palate perspective, yeah, I'm pretty flexible, I guess I would say. And so when I find myself in situations like this, I open my fridge. I thought my fridge was a lot closer. I open it and I try to find something that needs to be eaten. And I have a couple of things that it's gotta be eaten. So I have some ground beef, and I also have a head of cabbage. So what are we gonna make with this? Cabbage and beef. I looked up a couple of recipes online and I found a recipe where I had basically all of the ingredients. I'm gonna kind of wing it. It's kind of like a deconstructed cabbage roll. We call them galushtis. I don't know, that's what my Romanian family always called them. It's basically like cabbage with rice and beef inside, and you roll it up. But this is going to be like a big casserole, so a lot less work. Dinners are when I don't really want to cook. So I like to do dishes that I can kind of just stick in the oven or are super quick and easy. I feel like I go through phases. Sometimes I want to cook these big elaborate dinners and sometimes I don't. And today, well, I'm on my period and I just need time to just, you know, take a chill pill. I don't want to be cooking for long periods of time. So I think the prep for this takes around 15 minutes and then it just cooks in the oven, which is totally fine for me. I know that might seem like a lot of prep for some people, and if that is the case, then you just adjust accordingly to you. But yeah, I know I've been asking a lot of like the same kind of like similar questions in this video, but those are kind of the questions I tend to ask myself, is what do I want? What does my body want? And most people won't actually know the answer to those questions, I guess, if you've never asked yourself before. If you've never given yourself full permission to enjoy all food, no matter what, that question is so daunting. What do you want? What do I want when I have endless possibilities and options? Yeah, it's a scary question, but I've been asking myself this question for years now. And so for me, it comes a lot more naturally, but at the beginning, no, it didn't. At the beginning, I was frustrated with myself. I didn't know what to eat. I didn't know the answer to my own questions, but I didn't give up on myself. And I still gave myself the option and asked myself every day what I wanted. And when I didn't know, I would choose something out of a jar. I would ask my boyfriend to make something, etc. There are other options that we can take when we are unsure or feeling just uninspired, or we just simply aren't used to it. But yeah, my main questions is, what can I use up? What do I feel like? What does my body feel like? What sounds good? And then there are also different sorts of hunger, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but there's taste hunger and mental hunger, physical hunger. So it's very important to respond to all of those. But without further ado, why did I do this? Let's make some cabbage casserole. I feel like it doesn't sound good, but I have high hopes. So let's do it. All right, besties. So we're going to grab I was gonna say a delicious pot. That's where my headspace is right now, but just a regular pot. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil in here, okay? Don't be afraid of the oil, okay? Okay, so we'll add some oil, and then what we're also going to add is some chopped onion and garlic. I chopped some up and I didn't cry, so that is always a win for me. But yeah, we'll just add that into the pot and let it all simmer. Also, if anybody tells you to avoid oil, this is your sign to avoid them, because we do not need them in our lives. Now we're just adding in our chopped onion and garlic. So once your onions and garlic have wilted down a little bit, we're going to add in, this is like just over a pound of ground beef, maybe like 2 pounds, I don't really know, but that's what we're adding in. Okay, so now to our beef, we're going to add in some tomato paste. Probably around, I don't know, like 2 tablespoons or so. Then I'm going to add in around half of this tin of canned tomatoes, or diced tomatoes, I guess I should say. And again, giving it a good mix. Next, we're going to add in 1 cup of rice. I'm using basmati rice. And then the last thing that we're going to add to this pot in particular is 3 cups of broth of your choice. Today we are doing chicken. And yeah, I think I said 3 cups, but 3 cups. And then for our spices, we're going to add in some oregano just to taste, no measurement in particular, as well as the usual suspects, which is just some salt and pepper. All right, so I transferred our mixture into this little crucette, at least that's what we call it here. That is the spelling, maybe I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But I did chop up a whole green cabbage, so we're going to add that in here right now. I'm going to add it in like smaller segments, I guess, just so it can wilt down a little bit. And then we're going to put it in the oven for like 40 minutes, but the recipe will be linked in the description down below.
Go ahead and give us a try, let me through, yeah. Girl, I dare you to move a little closer, closer, and I just wanna hold you. Wrap you up in my arms.
So my dinner just came out of the oven, and I'm not going to lie, I gave it a taste test, and it's not very good. It's palatable, but it's really not my favorite. And sometimes with intuitive eating, that's what happens, is you get a meal and it's not your favorite. And so usually what happens in those cases is I have a little bit of it, and then I have a snack or something that's going to be a bit more satisfying, because if I eat just to feel full on a meal that I don't particularly like, the chances of me being satisfied from that meal is very, very slim. Even if I eat to the point where I feel super, super full, hunger and satisfaction are 2 completely different things. I could snack on baby carrots and eat the entire bag of baby carrots, but I'm still going to be unsatisfied. I'm still going to need something else. And so that's why it's so important to like the meals that you eat. And of course, I am coming from a little bit more of like a privileged standpoint. Not everybody can afford to like every meal that they make, and that's okay. So I will have some of the cabbage and beef. And I'm just gonna pay attention to how it tastes, and like if I really don't like it as I'm eating it, I'm not going to force myself to eat it. I have full permission to go back and get seconds and thirds or fourths of a meal, just like I have the same kind of permission to realize that this is not my jam and just stop eating a bite in, 2 bites in, half a meal in, whatever it might be. So yeah, I will have a little bit of this dish, and then we will probably make some popcorn or have a snack or something that's just gonna hit that that satisfaction factor. I also want to talk about taste hunger, because taste hunger could be when you are full, but you still want something. You still want something sweet. You're still looking for something. And what you are looking for is satisfaction. So that's why it's so important to be satisfied with all of your meals. And yeah, sometimes that means incorporating sweet things into your meals. Sometimes that means eating even when you're not hungry, just to fulfill that satisfaction. Listening to your mental hunger, to your taste hunger, to your physical hunger, they are all equally important. But that aside, I do not recommend making this dish. I'll still leave the recipe down below in case anybody can like make it better than I can, which I'm sure I added too much of many things. This is what happens when I do not follow a recipe exactly. But yeah, let's eat some of this cabbage stuff, and then we'll be back for something else, because I'm sure I'm not going to be fully satisfied. Oh, I ended up making some chicken tenders that I'm just going to eat with honey, because that's what sounded really good. And yeah, dinner was just not satisfying. Chicken tenders with honey will forever be one of my favorite things. It's incredible. This is hitting the spot so much more. Hi besties, I was crying because my period cramps are so intense, but I ended up cooking my cabbage dish for like another hour and it was a lot better. So I think the cook time was just off. I'm not hungry right now, but I do still want something sweet, and I have permission to eat even if I'm not hungry, okay? And we're going to have some of these eggies because chocolate sounds amazing. But yeah, this just sounds right up my alley right now and exactly like something that I need. So I'm going to take some of these up to bed. I'm gonna watch some Shameless, but I really hope that you liked this video. It's definitely different than how I normally do my what I eat in a day videos. But yeah, if you like videos like this, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any video requests or anything like that, you can also let me know. Yeah, I really hope to see you in my next video, and make sure to do something kind for yourself. Bye friends.